Spain versus Belgium. What a crazy game this is going to be, guys. Welcome back to my third of the 4 quarterfinal preview videos. We already made a preview video for France versus Morocco and Norway versus England, but now we are talking about Spain against Belgium, guys. And this is actually an underrated matchup in my opinion. I feel like both of these teams have gotten to this point, but in very different circumstances, guys. Obviously, Belgium, if you look at them at the start of the tournament, they had a very slow start, but recently they've been getting some very good results and have made it to yet again another quarterfinals. When if you look at Spain, a lot of people at the start of the tournament were saying they're going to get to at least the quarterfinals, but based off their attacking talent. But realistically, the main reason why they've gotten here is because they've kept a clean sheet in every single game so far. As you guys can see, this match is being taken place in 2 days at the time of recording this video. And like I do in all my other preview videos, we're going to start off by talking about one team, then the other team, and then a preview of the match itself. So we're going to start off with Belgium and we're going to talk about Spain after. But starting off with Belgium, guys, I think Belgium have been a very surprising team in this World Cup. Now, going into this World Cup, I thought they were going to have a very good tournament. The reason for that is because if you look at some of their friendlies before the start of the World Cup, they were performing incredible. We saw them get that 5-2 win against USA, absolutely demolished them. Then they got a draw against Mexico, followed by a 2-0 win against Croatia, and another 5-0 win against Tunisia. So going into this World Cup, I was saying that Belgium are probably one of the most informed teams in the world, but that completely changed at the start of the World Cup after that 1-1 draw against Egypt and that 0-0 draw against Iran. And this game was a really big wake-up call in my opinion. Obviously, they were down to 10 men, but the amount of chances they had in the attack, guys, in this game, they had 23 total shots. And the fact that they didn't even score a goal, and to be honest, they didn't even have a lot of shots on target. I was thinking in my head, this Belgium side is looking much more poor than I originally thought. And some of their players like Lukaku, players like De Bruyne, just didn't look like they were performing to the level that I thought they were. And even in the first game against Egypt, guys, you look at a player like Jeremy Doku, a player who's been so good with Man City this season, guys. If you look at Jeremy Doku's stats with Man City this season, 5 goals, 5 assists, started in almost 20 games. He's been incredible. In my opinion, probably one of the best wingers in the Premier League, especially towards the end of the season. But with Belgium, he has not been good. And that first game against Egypt showed that. He got a 6.4 rating. He did absolutely nothing. And I thought he should have been subbed off much earlier than he was. But for me, I think since that game against New Zealand, I feel like Belgium have almost flipped the switch. In the first 2 games, they scored 1 goal. They were poor. In the last 3 games, they've scored a total of, what's this? 12 goals in total against New Zealand, Senegal, and USA. That was absolutely unexpected. And for me, guys, a big reason for that is because of the Belgium manager, Rudy Garcia. Now, guys, you know, obviously, me being a Napoli fan, at Napoli, he was absolutely shit. I think that was probably his worst appointment as him being a manager throughout his career. He was so bad. So coming into this tournament, I wasn't a big fan of Rudy Garcia. But if I'm being completely honest, the main reason why Belgium are still in this tournament is because of Rudy Garcia. If we go back to that game against Senegal, guys, Belgium had a horrible first 80 minutes of that game. The first half, they were very poor. Senegal, I thought, were the better team that had more chances. And even in the second half, Belgium did not have the best start. We saw Senegal get that early goal with Ismail Assar, a very good goal in the 51st minute, and Senegal were up 2-0. But then Rudy Garcia made the very strange substitutions. A lot of people thought that this was a bad substitution. He took off Jeremy Doku. He took off Kevin De Bruyne. He took off De Ketelaere in the start of the second half. And what did he do? He put on Lukaku, Raskin, and Luka Bacchio. Now, Lukaku, fair enough, it's a fair substitution. But Raskin and Luka Bacchio for De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku. A lot of people did not expect that, but what pursued shocked a lot of people. Lukaku got the goal. Raskin had a very good second half performance, and Luka Bacchio was immense. He was fantastic. And I feel like the main reason why Belgium won this game is because of those changes, guys. Belgium scored 3 late goals. Lukaku got the late goal. Tielemans with the goal a few minutes after, and obviously that very late penalty. But I feel like if it wasn't for Rudy Garcia having some big balls, then I don't know if Belgium would have won this game. And the craziest thing is, he did the exact same thing in the USA game. He didn't even start Doku. He didn't even start Lukaku. He didn't even start De Bruyne. Instead, he started Luka Bacchio. He started Raskin. and he started Charles de Ketelaere. And what happened? Belgium won 4-1, their most convincing win of the World Cup. A game where a lot of USA fans were saying they're going to win this easy. I thought that Belgium were going to win 3-1. It ended to be 4-1. But once again, Rudy Garcia, guys, I think he's probably been the most risky manager at this World Cup. And the risks that he's taking are working out. Trossard is having an incredible tournament. Luka Bacchio, the games that he's played has been fantastic, and in my opinion, better than Jeremy Doku. Charles de Ketelaere, yes, he may have been a little bit inconsistent, and between him and Lukaku, it will be very hard to decide who starts, but even he has been very good, and in that game, he was absolutely incredible. And even Raskin, the games that he's played, guys, I never even really seen this guy play. He plays for Rangers. I never really seen him play. But he seems to be a very good player. Obviously, defensively, he's very good. But even going up, I think he's been very good coming off the bench. Now, there are a couple problems that Belgium will face. And for me, a big problem is that loss of Onana, guys. Obviously, we saw in that USA game, he got a cruciate ligament injury. This is an injury that takes a little while to heal. It could even take over half a year. So he's going to be out for a little while. And that is definitely a big loss for Belgium, because Amadou Onana is one of those players who in the midfield is that tall, powerful player, long strides, big tackles, and beside him we see a smaller player like Raskin, like De Bruyne, like Tielemans, whoever it is. So I feel like that loss is definitely going to be a loss of a powerful presence in the midfield for Belgium. But what Belgium still have is that powerful presence up top. Like I said, whether it's De Ketelaere or whether it's Lukaku, I'm not sure who he's going to start, but both of them are very tall, very physical strikers against a Spanish back line that we've seen don't perform the best against physical strikers in the past, especially a player like Kubarsi. We know sometimes he struggles with long balls over the top. We know sometimes he struggles with set pieces. And that is definitely an area where Belgium could possibly counter Spain and could possibly score the first goal that Spain have conceded so far in this World Cup. But guys, it's time to talk about the other team in this matchup, and that is Spain, guys. So far, Spain in this World Cup have been absolutely incredible. They have still not conceded a goal in 5 matches. Have they been performing the best? Maybe not, but they still haven't conceded a goal, which is very, very good. And going into this tournament, I felt like a lot of people were criticizing Spain's back line. I always thought they had a decent back line. Did I think they were this good? Maybe not, but I always thought they were decent. But guys, so far, they conceded 0 goals against Cape Verde, against Saudi Arabia, against Uruguay, against Austria, and another clean sheet against Portugal, which is very, very good. But one area of the pitch that Spain has really been lacking is in the attack. And I feel like this is very opposite to what people thought at the start of the tournament. But obviously from that very first game against Cape Verde, guys, we saw the problems in the Spanish team from the very start. They had 27 shots, only 7 on target, which is very, very poor, guys. That's under 25%, but they failed to score a goal. Now, to be fair, we all know Vozinha from this game, he was the hero. But even in other games, guys, I really want to look at that game against Uruguay, because this was another game that I thought Spain were very, very poor in the attack. Players like Oyarzabal, players like Lamine Yamal. And the thing is, once again, they had a few chances, but they just didn't take them well. And at the end of the day, I actually thought Uruguay were probably deserving of a draw from this game. So guys, I think the Spanish attack must perform in this game. Like I said, defensively, they've been incredible. They've been absolutely incredible. Pedro Porro, I think, has been decent. Cucurella has been decent. Laporte and Kubarsi have also been good. And obviously, the goalkeeper, we know he can perform. In the midfield, they've also been very good. Rodri looks back to his best in this tournament. He's been fantastic. And Pedri alongside him has also been good. But Olmo, Lamine Yamal, Baena, and Oyarzabal, I feel like they're just lacking something. Now, obviously, guys, if we look at when Spain won the Euros, for example, they had Nico Williams, right? Who was a very different profile player to Alex Baena. Now they have Alex Baena, and I don't think he's been as clinical. I don't think he has the pace that De La Fuente wants from his wingers, from his attackers. Against Belgium, guys, I think it could be a very, very close game. We've seen multiple of Spain's games be very, very close. Like I mentioned, against Cape Verde, against Uruguay, and even the last game against Portugal, guys, they left it for the last minute by Mikel Merino to score the goal. And once again, in this game, I want to talk about Spain's attack. I want to talk about Lamine Yamal. I want to talk about Baena. Yes, they had some decent shots that were good saves from Diogo Costa, like this shot from Lamine Yamal, like this other shot from Baena. They had a few good chances. But the main person I want to talk about is their striker, Oyarzabal. Guys, Oyarzabal is a player that when he puts on the Spain national team shirt, You expect him to score, you expect him to perform. And with wingers like Lamine Yamal, with players behind him like Dani Olmo, with Pedri and Rodri in the midfield, he will get loads and loads of service. He will get the ball, he will get balls through on goal. And we saw that against Portugal. And what did he do in the 8th minute to open the scoring? 1-on-1 with the keeper. He misses the whole net. Boy, when I saw that, I was like, yo, Oyarzabal, you better get off the pitch, bro, because damn, you're embarrassing yourself. That was a horrible, horrible miss. Holy shit. To be honest, I don't trust Bayana to score goals. Olmo, I can see him getting assists. I wouldn't trust him scoring goals. The people who I trust is Oyarzabal and Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, if he has a very good game, he can single-handedly win it for Spain. But if he's, just playing okay and he doesn't get 1 or 2 goals himself, then you rely on Oyarzabal to score, or you rely on maybe a header from Laporte or something like that. So I think Oyarzabal, if he gets the chance, he needs to score. That is the way that Spain will win this game. And against these defenders, these Belgium defenders, to be honest, they're not the best defenders. You look at Michele, he's a little bit of an older defender. How old is he? He's 33 years old, and he's playing in Belgium with Club Brugge. And then you look at the other defender, Ngoy, he's a very young defender. He's 23 years old, currently playing with Lille. And yes, he's a good prospect, but he is still a little bit rash. Sometimes doesn't go in for the best challenges. We saw him get the earlier red card in the tournament. So Spain do have attackers that can punish Belgium. But if Spain's attack do not perform to the level that they need to, they can lose this game. They can lose this game. Under Rudy Garcia, Belgium can win this game. If Spain aren't good in the attack, they will lose this game. For me, guys, this whole game relies on Spain's attack. Honestly, the whole game. Belgium will have chances. I don't think Belgium will go this whole game without having chances. I think they will definitely have chances. If Spain can defend them very well, then they might keep another clean sheet. But I think this game is heavily reliant on Spain's attack, on Oyarzabal and on Lamine Yamal. If they can score goals or even a goal, then they will win this game. But I think it'll be very, very close. So guys, for my final preview of this game, what do I think will happen? Which team is more likely to win? Obviously, Spain are the favorites, ranked 2nd by FIFA compared to Belgium, ranked 9th by FIFA. Now, Spain also defensively have been the best team in this tournament. They've been the only team to keep a clean sheet in every single game. But like I said, in the attack, they've been very disappointing. I think Oyarzabal has been good in some games, but inconsistent in others. Like I said, we saw against Portugal miss a wide open net. He should have put that away. Bayana, I don't think he's been the best. Olmo, he's been a little bit inconsistent. Same with Lamine Yamal. He's been okay in some games, but in a couple games, he just really hasn't been performing, and he's been getting locked up. Now, for Belgium, I think it'll be very interesting to see whether Rudy Garcia starts Charles de Ketelaere or Lukaku, whether he starts Doku or Luka Bacchio. I feel like with the route that he's been going on, he will most likely start Luka Bacchio and maybe de Ketelaere, especially after the last performance. But I think that loss of Onana is a big, big loss in the midfield. And if you look at the battles in this game, you look at the midfield battle, you look at that loss to Onana and Raskin playing on the other side. Guys, I don't trust that midfield compared to Pedri and Rodri. Okay, Pedri and Rodri will dominate possession with Spain. Spain will have at least 60 to 65% possession in this game, in my opinion. I think Belgium do have what it takes to score off counters, to score off set pieces. So that really depends on how Spain's defense performs. But for how good they've been in this tournament, I think it is very possible that they can possibly keep another clean sheet. Now, it really depends if Spain's attackers can perform, if Oyarzabal can score the chances that he gets, if Lamine Yamal can have a game that we all know that he can have. If they do perform, then Spain can win this game, maybe 1-0 or 2-0. But if Belgium can score off the counterattack, off a set piece, then it will be very, very difficult for Spain. And this game could even go to extra time or maybe even to penalties. But at the current moment, I do think Spain are the favorites. Belgium, I think, have done great to get here. But I think with how good Spain have been defending, I think they are pretty likely to keep a clean sheet in this game. I have a feeling Belgium might struggle. I might be wrong, but at the current moment, I'm going to go with Spain to slightly win this game. I think it'll be very, very close, but I'm just going to edge it to Spain. But guys, that is the end of my Spain versus Belgium preview. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for tomorrow for my final preview for the quarterfinals, which is between Argentina and Switzerland. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you're excited for more World Cup videos, I'll see you guys in the next one.